It's about family, and we have to do it together. One small advice, I shouldn't, but I'm going to do it because I'm looking at all the stakeholders of the community relationship here, Mexico, Dallas, Fort Worth. Cuando yo cruzo una puerta, no one knows if I'm Mexican or Salvadoran or Honduran or Brazilian. Because when I cross the door, they just see a Hispanic. Únanse como hispanos, por favor, porque si no se unen, nos dividen, y si nos dividen, no ganamos, ganan los otros, y necesitamos estar juntos. Segundo, yo soy muy afortunado. It was a privilege for me to be here at the Metroplex. It's the 4th metropolitan region in the U.S. y va a ser la tercera. Y no podría ser de otra manera, just because of the contributions of the Hispanic community. Like that. Like that. Texas won't be what it is without the Hispanic community. But we are usually not acknowledged like we should. Así que síganle luchando porque además todas y todos los que están aquí tienen una voz muy fuerte. Por favor, sean la voz de los que no pueden hablar. Porque ahí están. Y porque sí se puede. Me llevo el corazón de cada uno de ustedes. Me llevo un pedacito de Dallas aquí con mi familia. Ha sido el privilegio más grande de mi vida trabajar por ustedes y para ustedes. Gracias. A lo mejor no fui muy bueno, pero estuve mucho tiempo. Esa es la realidad. Pero gocé de la confianza de ustedes y me siento parte y me sentiré parte siempre de la comunidad de Dallas. Muchas gracias, los vamos a extrañar mucho, pero no me extrañen a mí, sigan trabajando por la comunidad. Muchísimas gracias.
Felicidades.
Gracias, corazón.
Buena suerte donde vayas.
Gracias.
All right, we have a couple of other people that have joined us. We have former DISD Superintendent Michael Hinojosa. We have our national parliamentarian Francis Rizzo. We have Richardson DISD trustee Dan Barrios. And Demas. Regina Montoya, former director of the Clinton administration. Regina.
Regional Hispanic Contractors.
All right. John Martinez, Hispanic Contractors Director. Gracias. We're going to continue the program. As you know, the governor called a special session in Austin to deal with various issues, redistricting being one of them, as well as a couple of other ones in terms of the flooding that happened down in Kerrville, and also some issues regarding THC and hemp products in Texas. And our next speaker is from Dallas. She's a wife, a mother of two. She has a really interesting story. She got pregnant when she was 15, had her first child. She graduated from Dallas Academy to get her degree, a high school degree. She put herself through East Field College, then went to UTA, graduated from Texas Women's University with a master's, went to law school, graduated from law school, and then she became elected state rep, flipping a Republican district for the first time.
Thank you so much for having me here today. So I'm Ana Maria Rodriguez Ramos, and I'm the representative for House District 102. Dan is one of my constituents back there, our RISD city council member. So right now what we're going through in this session, as you all know, is redistricting, and it's horrific. What they have done is horrible. they had these faux or these fake hearings. So redistricting is when they're drawing the lines for new representatives, okay, whether it's congressional or what have you. So in the lines that they drew, they were supposed to do it every 10 years after the census. Well, Trump knows he's doing really bad. There was no mandate. And so he needed to secure another win so he can avoid all of the litigation and he can continue doing his Epstein stuff without being held accountable. So he called Abbott and said, I need to find 5 new districts. And so Abbott's like, yeah, we're down. We're going to crack and pack and rip apart these communities because that's what Trump wants. So they had hearings, over 35 hours of hearings, 7 field hearings, without even showing us the map, what they were proposing. Now, they knew the map, they had it all along. In fact, I called one of my Latino representative Republican friends, and I was like, dude, what's up with that? Where's the map? Oh, we haven't seen it, we haven't seen it. My source is pretty credible. He said it's coming from DC. And that's what happened. And so he expressed to me, he said, I don't think any Republican here in Texas has seen it yet. It's coming from DC. They're telling us what they want. So we have all these hearings across Texas saying, what do people want? Over 99% of the people said, we do not want you to change the maps. Wait until the census. And during this time, our Democratic caucus sent us, a few of us, to different states. They sent us to California to go speak with Governor Newsom. They sent some other people to Chicago to speak with Governor Pritzker. The idea is, if he adds numbers to his Congress on his side, then blue states are going to do the same. And so that is the only fight we have when it comes to making sure that we even the playing field regarding these districts nationwide. It's corrupt, and I want to share some data with you. One of our esteemed colleagues, Terry will agree, Vince Perez is one of our freshmen from El Paso. He put together a little analysis of what it is. So because Texas is 40% Latino, we actually know we're more than 40% because Abbott intentionally undercounted us during the last census. But we know that we're more than 40%. But according to the census, we're a state of over 30 million. 40% of those are Latino. 40% are Anglo. About 13% are African American, 5% Asian, and then other. If we were fair in this state, we would have 15 seats that were majority Anglo seats. 15 seats would be Hispanic voters. We would have Congressman Emilio Garcia there. We would have 5 seats for Black Americans, according to the population, 2 for Asians, and 1 for the other. So we have 38 seats in total, okay? 15 would be Anglo, 15 would be Hispanic, and then we would divide the others. But the way they have it under this map, 26 seats would be for Anglos. Wow. 26 seats. They would represent over 70% of the population. 8 seats would go to Hispanics, 2 seats for Black voters, 0 for Asian, and then 2 for mixed constituencies. So from the 15 that we have now, the majority Hispanic voters, they're bringing it down to 8. And further in his analysis, for about 500,000 Anglos in Texas, so for every about 500,000, they get 1 representative. For every 1.5 million Hispanics, 3 times as much, we get 1 representative. So 3 of us, 3 Latinos, have the voice of 1 Anglo in Texas. It's even worse for our African American community. For every 2 million voters, African American voters, for every 2 million, they get 1 representative. So their voice is even more watered down. You need 4 Black people to have 1 voice in this map. This is horrible. Now, they had all these fake hearings. This morning, they had one yesterday, I know some of you have chimed in. Did anybody here go and testify? Wonderful, thank you, very good. We have some very colorful testimony. People were just amazing and dropping facts. They were keeping it real. But the final hearing was yesterday. So they had all of these hearings, about 7 of them, without the maps. Then all of a sudden, within 24 hours, 36 hours, now all of a sudden the maps appear, now they have the maps. And they only have one hearing with the actual maps, which was yesterday. This morning at 9 o'clock, they voted it out.
Yeah.
Now, this is mid-decade redistricting, guys. This doesn't happen. It doesn't have to happen. It doesn't happen because we're supposed to wait for the census numbers. There's no new data that they're basing this on, other than Trump's hunger and his greed. I mean, there's nothing to satiate this man's greed, you know? So, and Texas Republicans are cowards. They are all cowering down to this man. When we're on the House floor, guys, we always hear, oh, we're not like Washington, we're not like Washington. You know, they don't want us to be arguing and fighting like Washington. We're Texas, we're united. BS. These are Trump's little bitches in Texas. That's what it is. That's what these Republicans are. And the top one is Abbott. Greg Abbott is his number one.
Yeah.
So, the actual vote on the House floor, we expect it to be Monday or Tuesday. But Democrats will not go down without a fight. We will do whatever it takes to stop this, to delay it, to let other states step in, to encourage more people to really pay attention to what's happening and what's going on. So the vote is expected this upcoming week. Stay tuned, guys. And we know that Latinos, we voted, a lot of our neighbors and our people voted for Trump. And when we talk about our community members and the people are like, Will, I like his economy, all of that is BS. People don't even, all of that is BS because we know the economy is horrible. We know, like our colleague from LULAC said, Trump was clear, guys. Homegrowns are next. That's what he said. That's you. That's you. You think you're a U.S. citizen and they can't come after you? They can't come after your children? They can't come after your neighbors because you're a U.S. citizen? Those rules do not apply to these crazy people. During Operation Wetback in the Eisenhower administration, they deported U.S. citizens. That's you. That's your children. He asked Bukele to build more prisons because homegrowns are next. And you know what? He's already doing it, right? We know that. He's already targeting our U.S. citizen people. I have nightmares almost every night, every other night. My husband has to hear. I have nightmares that ICE is coming and taking me. It is true. We think that we're privileged because we have our residency or U.S. citizenship or that we're natural born. But this man, these people, including Abbott, don't care. So tell your friends and your neighbors, even though we at the legislative level are going to do whatever we can to stop this man, it's not just on us. We have to do this together. We have to get out there and vote. We have to commit to taking at least 10 people to the polls. In other states, whether we can stop this redistricting or not, they have flipped statewide seats because the power of the people have come out. And then slowly they've been changing the legislation and stuff. So if we can't flip a congressional seat, which I believe we can, I flipped the House seat from Republican to Democrat, and there's been no going back. You can do it. I always say, you can out-money a Mexican, but you can't outwork a Mexican. No one outworks a Mexican. Guys, it's up to all of us. We got to work our asses off so that not only will we protect our brothers and sisters, and you know, when I'm talking to my colleagues and we're talking about different options of stopping this, one of them is breaking quorum. I'm down for doing that. And I have a couple of colleagues, yes, thank you. A couple of colleagues who say, we can't do that, it's going to pass anyway. We can't, you know, we're just going to have to let it play its way out and fight it later in the courts. BS. What I always come back to, and we've all seen these videos, where neighbors in Massachusetts, in California, in Oregon, they're jumping in front of moving vehicles to stop ICE from taking their neighbors. They are holding hands in unity to stop ICE from taking neighbors. I said, how dare we stand back while our neighbors are jumping in front of moving vehicles to stop their neighbors from being taken. They don't know if they're going to be able to go home that night. They're not standing there saying, ICE is going to take them anyway, what can we do? They are putting their lives on the line. Who are we to not do the same? For our Texas population, in reality, this is more than Texas and America, it's global. It's Palestine, it's Ukraine, it's democracy, it's genocide. We're fighting for all of that, to stop that. So we must continue to fight. I encourage you to put pressure on your representatives to do whatever it takes. And you know what? The bill has to go through 2 chambers, the House and the Senate. So I encourage you to put pressure on your senators as well to do whatever it takes to stop this crazy, crazy, racist redistricting scheme. Thank you so much.
Any questions? Q&A? Yeah, go ahead. Jack, yeah.
Hello. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Rep. Here we go.
Good morning.
I was there yesterday. One of the things that I kept hearing the chairman say was 5 new seats. And it's crazy to me the way they're referring to this as 5 new seats. As you said, we have 38 congressional seats. We're not going to 43. That's not what's happening. They're talking about stealing seats. And to them, they're saying, we got 5 new seats. And even as I talked to people at the Capitol, they were like, we gotta stop these 5 new seats. And I'm like, it's not new seats. They're stealing seats. They're taking these 5 seats, flipping them based on the map, and then going around saying we got 5 new seats. Again, it's still 38, it's not 43. With that said, I will say to you, thank you for everything that you're doing, and what I said to some of the reps yesterday, I hope that we don't see you for a few months. That would be wonderful.
Thank you.
All right, over there in the back. Yeah.
I do have a question. It was a little concerning. The chairman, Hunter.
No se oye.
He's been working with both Republicans and Democrats in those maps, that both Democrats and Republicans knew about those maps. Is that true? And what are both chambers doing to stop this from happening? Because I'm with you on the forum, but I know that some representatives are not for that. So how are you guys staying united to stop this from happening?
Thank you. Great question. So I don't know if it's true or not. It could be true, but I'll give you a little story. When they did the last redistricting, which was just in 2021, we did the last redistricting. One of my Republican colleagues, I said, "Hey, dude, how's it going? Because we're supposed to propose our districts." And he said, "I said, how's it going? Have you submitted your lines, whatever?" I mean, Republicans don't really talk to us about their schemes, right? In fact, they tell Republicans not to make plans on certain days because we're going to be there to vote. They don't tell the Democrats until the day of or the day or right before, but they tell their people well in advance. Anyway, my friend was explaining to me, well, you know, I went over there to try to propose my districts, and actually, at that time, he was not a Republican, but he said, I went to propose my districts, and there was a guy, and I kept asking for him, he said, you know, Todd Hunter said, he's the one that's creating the plans, and I was asking him about those plans, like, you know, the guy, where's your card, all of this stuff, he's the attorney preparing the plans, he said the guy didn't have the card. Todd Hunter said, hey, if you need to talk to him, reach out to my secretary, we'll schedule a call with him or whatever. And I was like, dude, but he works for us. Why can't you get a hold of him? He said, I don't know. But then I went again to try to talk about my plans. He said they were in the Capitol. I could hear them in the room, but they weren't opening it for me. I wanted to propose my plans. And I'm like, oh my God, there's a book, and I'm going to curse again. It's called Rat Fuck. It's about gerrymandering. I said, dude, what you're explaining is what happened in this book. In Wisconsin, that's exactly what I did. And I said, did you get the guy's name? And he said, yeah, I got the name, but he said, it's weird because I've never seen him again. Now they're telling me he's not accessible. That he's somewhere across the street in some law firm and I can't get a hold of him. I'm like, that's exactly what happened in this book. So I went home and I got the guy's name and I, showed him the chapter of the book and I looked this guy on social media and it was the exact same guy that was being sued for doing this in Wisconsin. They brought him, the Republicans, and Todd Hunter knew all of this, but did not share that information with us at all. So I say that to say, he's part of the scheme. The truth is, he's a soldier for these. And are there Democrats who are also being soldiers for the Republicans? More than likely, yes. And so we have to hold ourselves accountable. And I'm the first one. I'm also the chair of the Progressive Caucus, which many times they hate me because I call them out. Because we are not soldiers to them, nor should we ever be. We need to be soldiers to our own platform, our own people in our own party. So to further, and you also asked about what are we going to do or what, we're going to use every tool like that you've heard over and over again, including if it means breaking quorum. But once again, there are 62 Democrats. We also have 11 in the House, we have 150, right? We also have 11 Democratic senators in the other chamber. The bill doesn't go through if either chamber stops it. So if the House people stop it, we can still use, for a certain period of time, we can still use the support of the 11 Democratic senators to also help carry the weight in this. We should not be alone, and I encourage you all. We have two senators here that are active in North Texas. We need to put the pressure on everyone to do whatever it takes, not just leave it to the House. Hey, Jessica.
Hi, Representative. A couple days ago, I heard Texas Democratic Chairman Kendall Stutter talking about the logistical hurdles that would come with a quorum break. He was talking about potentially $1.6 million needed to be raised, nothing before lodging child care. Is that something that you see? And if folks do want to help with that, what is the best way for them to do that?
My suggestion is either reaching out to the Texas Democratic Party or Attorney Eric Holder, the National Democratic Redistricting Campaign Committee. They have been very useful and very instrumental in helping us navigate this process. But yes, it's going to be super expensive. So last time we broke quorum, to try to punish us, they said every day that you are out, we're going to charge you $500 a day. Individual representatives. And they said you can't pay it through your campaign account, it's going to have to be personal. That's a lot of money for somebody who makes $7,200 a year, which is what they pay us, $7,200 a year. So yes, we would need help in all of that space, right, if we were to do that, because 562 members is a lot. However, the Senate doesn't have the same consequences. They don't have any fines. They don't have any consequences other than stopping a crazy bill. So thank you for that question.
Representative Ramos.
Yes, ma'am.
Quick question.
Yes,
First, so proud of you.
Thank you.
And how you've evolved in terms of your leadership. Because I know you since you were a teenager. So anyway, moving forward, because yes, we have to do everything we can to fight, but they're going to move forward with this horrible plan anyway. If y'all could let us know which of the seats that they've turned Republican are the most vulnerable, so we can flip it like you did in the Richardson area. Y'all need to let us know that so we can prepare for the fight post-redistricting, because it's going to happen regardless.
Yes, ma'am. And people, and they say all the time, and I'll wrap up with this, it's going to happen regardless, there's no option or whatever. Domingo shared when I was 15, I had my baby. I had her at Parkland. I was, a mom at 15, dropped out of school. I went to DISD but didn't finish. And they told me, you're going to be on welfare and this is your life regardless. You're just going to, I had all my prenatal care at Martin Luther King. I had my baby at Parkland. I was on food stamps and Medicaid and all of that. And they said, that's your life. This is your future. I never imagined there would be a way for me to get my GED, go to community college, get my associates, my bachelor's, my MBA, and a law degree at SMU. That was never. Thank you. That was never an option. That we made a way where there was no way. and I do believe you can still do that today. So thank you so much. Muchísimas gracias.
Thank you. All right, our next speaker, as you know, Dallas is being built by Latino hands. Whether it's a highway, a school, a hospital, it's Latinos doing the work. And as somebody who worked construction, pouring concrete with my dad in the summers, that's a hell of a thing to be out there 105 degrees and working. But Latinos are doing it every day, and now they're moving up. And I want to recognize John H. Martinez. Come on up. He's the president and CEO of the Spanish Contractors Association. He's held the helm since 2005 and is working to continue to open up opportunities for Latino contractors and businesses. John.
Thank you. I was praying and praying, please don't let me come after. You know, I know we're speaking to the choir, but one thing I do want to say before I share a little bit about the contractors is, I think one thing that we have to do is we have to put money on the table. We have to make sure that we're giving to these PACs. We have to make sure that we're donating to these elected officials. And I know we find that difficult, but that's something that we have to do. I think Dallas is still Dallas, Houston, all of Texas, one of the most segregated states. I find it unusual that Dallas is majority Hispanic, Texas. Houston is one of the most diverse cities that you will ever find. And most of my meetings that I'm in, I'm the only Hispanic in that meeting. Yesterday, I was in a Hispanic-owned construction firm in Fort Worth. There was 50 people in that meeting. There were only 2 Hispanics. And the firm was Hispanic-owned, and they had 4 employees there, and none of them were Hispanic. None of them, right? It's a very segregated city when it comes to Hispanics. Now, when we met with Senator Cruz's office, they said, well, the reason we're trying to eliminate immigrants is because we want those jobs to be for Americans. That's why, Senator Cruz, it's those immigrants that allow the jobs to be for Americans. The Americans who sit in the offices, right? The Hispanic firms, we hire more white people who sit in the comfy offices than anybody else. You can go into Turner Construction right now, Manhattan Construction, Balfour, all those. You go to their offices, you're going to see a bunch of white people in there. Good friends of mine. I'm not complaining. You go into those same Hispanic firms, you go into their offices, you're going to see the same white people in there too. You go into the fields, you're going to see, the work field, you're going to see the Hispanics there. I know that sometimes we come in here and we look at Hispanic workers in commercial construction, which is what we only do. The contractors, the regional Hispanic contractors, we do commercial and heavy highway. Cruz's office said the reason that we want immigrants in commercial and heavy highways is because we don't pay them a living wage. I don't know about residential because we don't deal with residential, but in commercial, we pay them a living wage, right? So we just got through remodeling our building. It was supposed to be 1.3 before COVID. It ended up being 4.6. Thank you, Elba, for helping us get that finance. It was never going to happen without Elba. And somewhere there's Yolanda Tafoya. I hear it all the time from her. The person that was picking up the trash, I'm just talking about picking up trash, little trash like that, water bottles and stuff, was making $22 an hour. $22 an hour. It doesn't take a lot of skills to pick up that trash, by the way. I was making about 5 hours overtime, right? And we were afraid that we would lose them every week, right? There's so much work. So in commercial construction, most of the people come in and said, I want this much hour, plus at least 5 hours overtime. And right now, if you're in a Dallas IZ, Fort Worth IZ, Arlington IZ project, you're making good money. Now it's dangerous. It's dangerous work. So one of the things that RHCA does is we do a lot of construction safety. So I passed this out on here. And just like the Paco de Consu said, we started 20 years ago where we partner with OSHA. And sometimes our friends are the big contractors. But they know that if somebody calls us and say, hey, we're being maltreated on a project site, we'll be the first ones to say, come into our office and we'll help you call OSHA, right? We have no problem doing that. because we started as the Hispanic contractors out of the Greater Dallas Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, and we didn't start by rich contractors. We started with contractors who just managed to keep their doors open, right? That was the only success. And I always admire these people because they didn't say, we want to get bigger and become more money. They said, we want to make it easier for the next generation of contractors. So we've always been a chamber of commerce for construction, but our unique part is as much as we are for the business owners, we are for those workers, right? So people, I have been told in other cities, hey, how do you work with Domingo? Because he brings lawsuits against some of those big contractors where the workers get hurt.
Yeah.
Hey, that's a partner, right? We don't want our workers to get hurt. Those are our people. You see our name says Hispanic on there? When we say Hispanic contractors, we're talking about that worker, we're talking about that business owner. We don't distinguish, right? We want both of them to go home healthy, and we want them both of them to go home making money. So you have a handout there, it has a bunch of QR codes. I leave with this message. We're still pre-1964 civil rights here in Texas. I see it. It had been since 1975 that people mispronounce my name, my penis, which is like Smith in Spanish, supposed to be. This legislative session, I testified at least 20, 30 times. I don't think my name got pronounced correctly one time. And I'm thinking, wait a minute. I've testified every legislative session. Y'all were the same people that always got my name right. What happened? And it's crazy that I would tell you, some of the bills that came up that were reversing previous bills, they were being reversed by the same people that were the co-authors of the original bills. So like, for instance, that I would say, hey, I want to bring in-state tuition to those DACA people. 20 years later, the same person would say, I want to reverse that. That's how crazy it is there. It is crazy there right now. And now with the new session, it's even crazier. So I respect you so much for those elected officials. I could never be one, but I will tell you, please, even if it's just $1, they need that funding because that's what scares everyone. And I don't mean to be racist on this, but the white groups, the first thing they do is say, I'm going to sue. And I don't know why, that scares the hell out of everybody, right? And I'm thinking, City of Dallas, City of Houston, Harris County, you're in lawsuits every day. But when a white group comes in and says they're going to sue, I mean, those people go running, they're scared. Why? Because they know we'll talk a good game at the Chorizo Menudo, but on Monday, we won't put the money to sue. So we need your money as much as we need your time and we need your voices. Thank you.
Any
Amen.
Q&A? Oh, got a hand up here.
Hello, sir. It really warms my heart that you're talking about workers' rights, workers' rights. And I remember about 10 years ago when my group, Workers in Fence, tried to pass water breaks for construction workers in the city of Dallas. And all the contractors associations rallied against us, including the Hispanic Contractors Association. Now, I don't know if you were in charge back then. I think we need to look forward. That was a very challenging thing to overcome. The Hispanic Contractors Associations being against their own workers getting water breaks in the city of Dallas. Now, time has passed. There's a new challenge, there's a new campaign. We're trying to pass something called Better Builder with the County Commissioners Court. It's a broad package, much more broad than water breaks. It involves wages, it involves safer working conditions, and I hope that under your leadership, the Hispanic Contractors Association will not become a barrier again to those better conditions.
Yeah, let me address that. I was there, and I was not against the water breaks. I was against the city passing that rule, and I'll tell you why I was against it. Because the city was passing the rule, and Monica was a council person. And my board told me, go talk to Monica, and I said, Monica is not going to vote for us. Because she's thinking if she can get one person to get a little drop of water, she's going to do it. But the city was telling me, we're going to put zero enforcement. Zero enforcement. So we took the position of, right now, those contractors at night, they get their water bottles, they freeze them, they take them with them. The last thing we want is that a contractor says, hey, I heard on Univision, I heard on the radio that the city of Dallas is guaranteed that we got water breaks and we're gonna get this, and they don't freeze those waters, and they go to work, right? And they don't have any water. And they're waiting for the city, hey city, where's my water? And the city said, we're not putting one damn officer, one damn person to check on it, so you get there without water. So that's what we were against it. Now, if the city said, we're gonna put resources to make sure you get your breaks and your water, we're for it. But what they were doing is, they were saying, hey, yeah, get them water. But if you don't get them water, we're not gonna do nothing to you. And I'm gonna tell you, you're a pretty damn sorry bastard in the middle of Texas summer that you're not giving people water and breaks. And if you're passing a rule, guess what? If there's no enforcement, you're not giving those people water anyway. Because you gotta be a sorry bastard not to give somebody water, let alone somebody who's working in 100+ degree weather and construction. So that's why we didn't support it. So when you say the contractors didn't support people breaks and water, that's not true. What we didn't support was there was zero enforcement on that, right? You want to put a break, then you better put some enforcement on that one, and then we will support you 100%. I was the only association a month ago that was in front of Harris County where we're supporting raising the minimum wage to a living wage. The white group was against me. In fact, you should have seen the looks that I got and the things that are on there. I did that. They said, John, how do you do that if those are the businesses are going to get to them, because those are our people, right? And they need to make a living wage. They work and work out, and their body's worn out by the time they're 40 and 50, and they need to make sure they get paid well for it.
Right.
But there's enforcement. Harris County is going to have enforcement to make sure they're going to check, they're going to have to make sure that those wages are recorded. We will support that. I'm not going to support something that doesn't have enforcement behind it.
I have a question for you, John. I think Roland mentioned that we were up in Nebraska, which is a real red state, if any is. And we went because of one of the events that they had where they raided this meat packing company, and obviously they took all the workers. It was a medium size, and of course they were all upset and trying to work with all the different, both the elected officials and the feds and all that kind of stuff. And they were very concerned because to begin with, a state like Nebraska, they lose about 70,000 potential workers leave the state to go work elsewhere because of the actual salaries and all kinds of things. But now I'm concerned now about what's going to happen to Texas and our economy, given what's happening with all the rates wherever and all the arrests. Have you got any numbers that's about impacting your membership and as a contractor? I know the Cementeros or Mexicanos, I know that. What's going to happen to them?
So right now in Texas, we're about 100,000 construction workers short every month. We were 1.4 million construction workers short. So if you see the graph of the whole United States, California is the second state. Texas is about over double of that. So we're already short, right? And so we're going to get even shorter because people are doing two things. They're trying to get away where there's a lot of Hispanics. So they're trying to get states where they won't come because there's not a lot of them to chase, right? So we're losing workers there. And then, you know, Mexico is not as bad as it used to be. I mean, people aren't outrun, you know, on donkeys anymore. People are making good money. We never got the bricklayers back, right? From the last time that they went, we never got them back because they're making good living in Mexico. But I will tell you, what does that mean to you? I'm going to tell you what it means to me. Our building was 1.3 million. It's costing us 4.6 million. We didn't get anything more expensive. Nothing, we didn't add anything to it. Labor and material. 1.3 million to 4.6. So next time you want to buy a house, you want to fix your patio, that's what it's going to be. So if this is what it means from COVID to now, 1.3 to 4.6 million, that's why, Elba, we need more money. What did I text you? As she sat here, I texted her, Elba, I need to talk to you, right? So when you're looking at the house for your kids, when you're looking at the next hospital, the next school, that's what you're looking at, more money.
Thank you. Gracias. All right, next I got a dynamic duo coming up, okay? Our next two speakers are husband and wife, okay?
Wow.
And I'm going to talk about the wife first. Okay? She started as a paraprofessional teaching. Her principal said, you know, you should really go to college and get a degree. And she took her up on that. At that time, she was married to her husband who was in the Army, Air Force, and the Air National Guard, and he was serving in Afghanistan. So she went back to school, became the first person to graduate from college, got her bachelor's degree, started teaching, and she was teaching for 12 years, honored 3 times as Teacher of the Year. It is now the first Latina to serve on the Duncanville School Board. Wow. Janet de la Cruz. Her husband, the other part of the relationship here, served 25 years in the military in the U.S. Air Force and the Texas Air National Guard. In 1990, he was deployed to Saudi Arabia in Operation Desert Shield. After 9/11, he served in Afghanistan and Iraq in Operation Enduring Freedom and Operation Iraqi Freedom. He came back, joined the Dallas Fire Department, where he served for 30 years with the Dallas Fire Rescue as a firefighter, paramedic, and a chaplain. And he is now on the Duncanville City Council. So let me introduce to you Joe de la Cruz and Janet de la Cruz.
Good morning, everyone. It's definitely an honor, and I'm very humbled to be here, me and my wife, in front of you. But before we get started, I want y'all to know today's my wife's birthday.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Janet. Happy birthday to you.
I'll tell you what, we have a unique story. When I retired out of the military, I got a third of my life back, and I had a dream that I was to get involved in the city. So I went and talked to my wife and said, hey, I think I'm supposed to get involved in the city. She said, don't do it. So that's exactly what I did. So I got with my mentors and my coaches and whatnot, and I told them what I was thinking. They go, okay, well, let's get you on a board or commission, which will be something I'll bring up earlier. We've got to get involved with the city. Anyway, I got involved, started to get to know people, and then I ran for school board. So I was actually the first Latino to ever be a trustee on the Duncanville School Board. Right? And so, thank you. But I didn't know that at the time. I was just running because that's what in my heart I wanted to do. I wanted to get involved. And so later on, the District 1 seat for City Council became available, and I talked to the council member, and he said, yeah, you need to run. I thought, well, you know, if I leave my seat there, then we won't have anybody representing us on the school board. So I talked to my wife. I said, hey, you were an educator. I think you would make a great fit for the Duncanville school board. And so at that particular time, she agreed, and we ran a double campaign. Right? She had 2 opponents, I had 2 opponents. She's at large, which means the whole city, and I'm in a district. So we were all over the city. But thankfully, we both won, and have been there ever since. So she's serving her third term, I'm sorry, and I'm on my 4th term. And so we've been pretty busy, but here's the meat of it all. I believe, because as I was a firefighter, people won't join unless they see somebody like themselves, right? They don't feel comfortable. They're like, well, you can do it? Well, heck, if you can do it, I can do it. I'm your size, I'm your color, I'm everything you are. Well, exactly. So we use it as a stepping stone to try to get recruit people into our boards and commissions and even just get involved. And I know Mr. Luna, he's with Somos, Texas. Well, one important thing is that in Duncanville, I didn't know Somos, Texas, but in Duncanville, we started a group called Somos Duncanville. And the main purpose of that is, one, because of our, I would say our what do you say? Our connection, the people we know, people a voice, people will come to you and go, well, how can I get involved and how can I, help? And so that's the goal. The goal is to recruit folks, great folks, into our boards and commissions and get our voice heard out there. So I'm going to pass it on to my wife now and give her a chance to speak a little bit, and then we'll tell you a little bit about what's going on in Duncanville.
Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
Thank you for this warm invitation. We are so appreciative of this together. Yes, we are the first in Duncanville to sit at the table and to have discussions. And to have that discussion is allowing us to be involved and get at the ground roots of getting things started. And so what I like to say to that is that because we have that voice, we are that place for our community and we are honored. But it doesn't mean because we're the first, we shouldn't be the last. And so across this room, I see a lot of wisdom. And I'm so honored to be amongst you. Dr. Hinojosa, I have memories of you and Dr. Smith that sat in the superintendency during COVID, and we together were navigating waters that have never been navigated. And we got through COVID with what we had. And it was instrumental that Dr. Mark Smith, at that time, who was our Duncanville superintendent, and he spoke highly of Dr. Hinojosa. He adored you, and I thank you for your service there. We are part of Oak Cliff. Oak Cliff is in our hearts. We were born, I was born in Victoria, Texas. My mom and dad came in and stayed ground in Oak Cliff. And so did my husband, and we went through school in DISD. Joe is an alumni of Bishop Dunn. And I started at Bishop Dunn. It was hard, 3 daughters and no tuition, so I finished out at Kimball High School in Oak Cliff. And so with that said, thank you. With that said, we did not know what the good Lord had wanting us to do. And so this is just precious that we are up here together and we are the legacy. What we have a heart for is for our family, and because we're the first even in our family, everybody has a first. You are the first. What is your first? Find your first, find it, and be passionate about it, because that's the breakthrough you have to have. You have to have that one step into that water to go deep. And that warrior attitude that is ingrained in us, and that is our DNA. We are warriors at heart.
Yes, we are.
There's a fight inside of us that cannot be denied. And we are that light.
So I'm going to encourage you. I know there's a lot of elected officials. I know there's just a lot of knowledge and wisdom in the room. But one thing I learned after some time when I took the seat, I didn't realize the power that I actually had. And what I mean by that is what I brought to the table. As a military veteran, as a Dallas firefighter, as an entrepreneur, whenever something in the city is happening that involves public safety or contracts, Mr. Martinez talked about, I can speak to that. And I can be influential somewhat with my other council members because of my wisdom and the knowledge and the skills that I have. So I want to encourage you, if you're not involved in a board or commission in the city, or if you're thinking about becoming an elected official, or encourage somebody to become one, it's not about being the council member or the trustee, it's about what you bring to the table, right? Stability, obviously Hispanic, male, female, and the skills you bring. So I just want to encourage you there. But let's talk a little bit about Duncanville. So Duncanville is 11.2 square miles. It has a little bit over 40,000 people. We have 5 districts, 1 at large, and our mayor. Speaking of our mayor, Mayor Greg Contreras, he's the first Hispanic to ever serve in Duncanville. So, yes. But anyway, just like everyone, budget, big thing. right? So we're trying to figure out how to squeeze the most out of the dollar. Like Mr. Martinez talked about, everything's gone up so high, so we're trying to prioritize. But one of our biggest major things is obviously public safety. We're trying to add 2 more police officers and 2 more firefighters. We've got a comprehensive plan that we're working on. We also have a bond committee to try to prioritize and manage that money. So we're working on a 3rd fire station, which is obviously going to bring more stability and safety to our city, which is always deep in my heart. So other than that, we're always trying to encourage people to join boards and commissions. We're always trying to engage, try to be visible. I mean, between the city and the school, I attend so many events. I mean, I'm out there, she's out there, and we're recruiting every day. So I'm going to pass it on to my wife to tell you a little bit about the school district.
So in the school district, I was able to sit on the board and hire our new superintendent, Dr. Boree. He is not here. He would have loved to have been here. He's battling COVID, and he sends his wishes. But that was interesting in hiring our new superintendent and going through all of those people that wanted that seat. And we needed a leader to come in, and I needed time to make sure that the Hispanic faces of our school district would be seen and heard in our students. And I'm pleased to announce to you that, yeah, we are 56% Hispanic and growing. When Joe sat in the seat, it was below 40. So the demographics are changing. And it's undeniable, they're coming in, they want what we are offering in Duncanville, and we're happy to have those type of pipelines that are educated. Our past 2 valedictorians were Latinas, and they are going on to successful career paths. I work closely with a teacher, he is the youth and government teacher, Stephen Kane. He tries to talk to the class that are coming in that serve the Latino population to make sure they understand that they can go on to college. As you all know, that's kind of hard for the generation. He even says that the Hispanic families don't want their kids going to college. They want them to be close, they want them close by. I had that. You know, mom and dad were happy with us getting through high school. And when they did that, they wanted you to go to work. That's how we grew up. But for me, my story was that when my husband went off to Afghanistan and I was raising our 2 kids, he told me, why don't you go sign up for college? So I did graduate from UNT. We paid it all off just because we had that burn in our heart just going, we can do this. We don't need a student loan. So it was semester by semester, I finished UNT. And so I was the first ever graduate in my family. But that being said, there are a lot of firsts coming out of Duncanville that are going on to successful colleges and coming back to give back into the community, and we look forward to that. We did pass a $170 million bond. We are renewing and reconstructing and reevaluating what we can offer. I will tell you that I'm very proud that there are so many avenues and it's so in depth of what career path our students have in Duncanville. And we want to be that pathway that they can go on to be successful, to come out on the top, to be the first in their family, and to come back and give back into the community.
All right, we're going to open it up. Any questions? Q&A. Hilda.
To the missus, because I don't remember your last name, but congratulations to both of you. My question to you, ma'am, is right now I work as an advocate for students and families, and there's a discipline issue. There's a discipline issue in Waxahachie, and I'm just asking about Duncanville. How do you apply discipline, and do you have an alternate placement, and are they balanced? Just a question.
Sure. Thank you for your question. So as far as behaviors is what you're concerned with, what you're asking about, there is a protocol. We follow the protocol with that, and so the principals and the leadership that are held there accountable, they oversee. There is, a due process in which they are asking the teachers, asking the students, so
the issue is the word at the discretion of the administrator. So at the discretion of the administrator, brown and black people deserve to be removed to an alternate placement school versus the non-black and brown. So that's my question as far as, does it apply differently regardless of the word discretionary?
Not that I know. This was.
I can speak to that a little bit because I was on the school board as well. But so that's one of the great things about us being Latino, because sometimes, because you say they're brown and black students, they don't know how to navigate that. So we always try to make ourselves available to be that bridge, to make sure it's fair, right? One, and equitable, and that they're getting fair treatment just like everybody else. But we want that for everyone, not just necessarily. But again, us being in the seats, they feel more comfortable coming and asking. Same thing in the city. You know, if they're building a fence and they get a ticket from the code enforcement, they'll reach out, whether it's in my district or not, it doesn't matter. They feel more comfortable reaching out to me, and I said, okay, yeah, we'll set up a meeting with the city manager, code enforcement, whoever, and try to rectify all that. So that's how it's working for us as well. Thank you for your question.
I have a question for you all, and I guess I've lived there for 40 years, so I've seen tremendous growth in that period. Would you speak a little bit about the makeup of the school district in particular, but also the city itself, the changes that have occurred? I know our numbers have grown dramatically. I think at the school district we're probably more than 50% already. And that's happening not just in Duncanville, but throughout the metroplex.
We are at 56%. We're at 79% that are
so
disadvantage. 79% disadvantage. 79% are disadvantaged. 56 Hispanic.
So in the city, we're like 42% Hispanic since the last census. And yes, economic development, we're trying to encourage businesses. As a matter of fact, we've got a lot of young Latinos and Latinas that are starting businesses in Duncanville. And then in the city, in the school district, it's over 50% now that are Hispanic kids. As a matter of fact, I grew up right here in Oak Cliff. You walk into some of those schools, and I feel like I'm back in Oak Cliff. Right? I mean, it's great. It's awesome. And so just them seeing us and us being available, really, it makes it a lot better. And the superintendent also. Also, I want y'all to know something else. We're very involved. It doesn't matter the color of the kid, right? So there's a black school board association that the school district is part of, and we encourage the trustees to attend those, along with the Mexican American School Board Association. And the reason that's important is, one, if the African Americans are meeting and they're discussing the problems they're having, guess what? We got those in our school and city too. So it makes us more valuable when we know that and being part of it. Same thing with the Mexican School Board Association. The other school board trustees encourage them to show up, whether they're Caucasian or black, and then they get to learn what our struggles or our challenges are so that we can work better together. And so that's our goal, and that's something that we both bring, and actually started it when we got there. We started encouraging them that, hey, don't come get involved, come learn about this, it's important.
I think that's why it's important that we started Somos Duncanville, because it helps bridge that gap and where they don't know where to turn to ask those questions. And so they have our number, our emails. We are called to help and assist when they need some assistance in the housing. I'll tell you a real quick story, and I know that we're out of time, but my heart during COVID, we had displaced children. That's a fancy word for homeless. And so because COVID hit so hard, it caused a lot of families to go homeless. And so I became curious because nobody was asking. And I don't know about you, but there's invisible people. You ever felt like you were invisible? So I started asking, well, who are these children? Who are they? And what do they need? What can I do? Who do I connect to? So when I started asking questions, got together with the leadership and they said, well, Mrs. Berkins, we'll give you a tour of the food pantry because we're collecting so much for the food pantry. I'm like, well, who's getting it? How are we getting this to them? And so one thing led to another conversation, led to another text, led to another text, and that took a tour. And we had about 150 displaced children in Duncanville. Let me tell you something, when you start a conversation, you better learn how to finish it. Because I had gone to the pastors and they had heard about our situation. Cedar Hill didn't even have a food pantry. So then we started a conversation with them. Next thing I knew, I had a $10,000 check given to our food pantry. Only because of a conversation. Because I was asking questions. Because those children, they were on somebody's sofa. They were on somebody's sofa. They needed a coat. I would get phone calls saying, can you provide a coat? I'd run and go get a coat. But that's the power of having your voice and having a connection to having a heart into the community. And that's what's needed. I don't want an invisible child to feel ever like they were just not seen. That's not right. And so together we make those kind of differences, because that's why you're here. And we appreciate every single one of you. Thank you.
One last one.
Our state has attacked a lot of our community, our students, particularly our undocumented students. There is now a change in state law that we talked about it, the in-state tuition is no longer there, but that means they no longer get financial aid. Our undocumented students can enroll at a college or university. They're not prevented from enrolling, but they're just not going to get any financial aid. They can't apply, they don't have some for them. What are we going to do as the school district to make sure that those children that are enrolled in our district, that are in that situation, that they're able to graduate and maybe possibly hope and aspire to a college or university education? Is there something that Duncanville is doing? How are you addressing that issue?
And thank you, Mr. De Los Santos. I appreciate you so much. I know that you work in our community, and I appreciate you. You know, again, I mentioned his name is Stephen Kane, and he helps do that. And I'm going to connect you with him again, because there's a change in leadership, and people come in and go. So we will work together with it. But he's also the key person that gets and starts the scholarships. So there is funding, like you're saying. They just need to know how to navigate to get there, because they don't believe that there is. My mom and dad didn't know. And so now it's a different age and time. There is money. You can go to, IT. You can go to Harvard to be the first. So I thank you for what you're doing, and yes, we will connect. But Stephen Kane is our person that we help connect those students and families.
And I'd like to add to that people like you, sir, and everyone in this room, us as elected officials, we don't know everything. We don't, we'd like to, but we can't. But we need people like you to make us aware, so it's awareness, number one. Once we get that, we have one-on-ones with the city manager, one-on-ones with the superintendent, and we can speak to that and make them aware and then have it worked out.
All right, would you do a nice job? And by the way, they're both volunteers, just FYI. Duncanville City Council, Duncanville School Board, it's a volunteer job. So they're giving back to the community. Just letting you know that. Actually, being a state rep is pretty much a volunteer job too. All right, so that's I recognize that public service. Talking about public service, the next speaker, I've known him a long time since he was in high school. He grew up here in Oak Cliff. He's been an activist and a political organizer for the last 20 years. He's worked on voter registration drives, political campaigns, and now he's formed a new organization called Alamos Placas. They have been recognized nationally, has received recognition from the U.S. Department of Education, and they're continuing to work to improve and politically empower Latinos here in Texas. Let's give a big hand to Ramiro Luna.
Good morning. Thank you so much. It's a great honor to be here with you, especially sharing the stage with people who I admire and look up to. Domingo, he hired me fresh out of high school, and sorry about that. And but since then, you know, I've been inspired by him, his wife, leaders who are here in this room that I work with, you know, for, and I am now at the stage that I can say, well, now I have our own organization. And Somos Texas is our organization because we needed an organization to create a paradigm shift in electioneering. A lot of times, whenever we think about elections, it's such a reactive space where it's like, oh, it's about the election's about to come up, so let's go get the vote out of it. But our community needs more substantive focus because the turnout is so low, especially around Latinos, that we need to create a campaign not around the candidate but around the community. And that's what we created. We created a year-round campaign that does not focus on the candidate. It focuses on the community so they can be educated, so they can have all the resources to be actively engaged in civics. I could have not done this alone. We had great co-founders and board members. Many of them are in this room. I see Eric Mata, our board member. I see Herlinda, our co-founder. I see Arnulfo, I see Jasmine, our other co-founders. And so I just wanted to say that it's been a collaborative effort. And we started with the idea and the intention to create a holistic approach to civic engagement by really focusing on the education. You know, I think a lot of times whenever we tell people, go out and vote, we have to also understand that if we're telling somebody to do something for the first time, it can be a bit intimidating. So let's go ahead and take that intimidation factor out by providing as much education before. And it was interesting because whenever we first created Somos Texas, it was that. It was for the sake of civic engagement and voter turnout. And it was at the cusp of COVID that the organization was created. And whenever the quarantine happened, I remember we were planning a campus, and we're like, oh man, there's a shutdown, it might be a week or two, that we're completely wrong, of course. And but we realized that turning out or trying to register voters at that time was also not attuned to the times, because more than just voting, they needed vaccines and PPE. And so that's whenever we, as some leaders, also shifted our focus and realized that if we were to look at voters beyond just voters, but as individuals, and realize that the reason why they're not voting is because it's systemic. Whenever we think about voter turnout and we look at the areas that are having lower propensity voters, precinct specific, there is layers. There are also the same areas that have less broadband connectivity. There's also the same areas that they have food deserts. There are also the same areas where, you know, enrollment to colleges are also lower. And so what we're doing now, whenever we create Somos Texas, was like, well, let's address the root cause of all these issues. And for now, we actually have two nonprofits, Somos Texas and Somos Texas Community. So I just wanted to kind of like give you a bit of an explanation, because sometimes you may see like two different brands, and it's not because we got hijacked or somebody's trying to copy us, it's actually us. But what we did is that we created two brands because we need advocacy, we need voting, and that's where Somos Texas comes in. But we also need service, and we need to make sure that our community is doing well, and that's where Somos Texas Community comes in. So we have a 501c3 and a 501c4 nonprofit so that we can address the needs of our community. Representative Ana Maria Ramos was so poignant and so powerful whenever she said, you know, it is an attack. It's an attack against our community. Speaking as an undocumented immigrant, it has been such a difficult journey the last year has been difficult for me, for my family, for the people that we fight for. And they're attacking us, and whenever they bring the fight to us, we have the option to run away is not the option that is for us. The option to fight back is the only option that we have.
Right.
We're fighting. I'm very proud that we have somebody like Ana Maria Ramos there as a public servant. And what I love about her is that she's not just a public servant, she's a fighter. And that's who we need to be. El pueblo va a salvar al pueblo.
That's right.
Tenemos una gran responsabilidad para luchar. Es todo lo que podemos hacer en este momento. Si nos quieren atacar a nosotros, lo que van a enfrentar van a ser luchadores.
That's right.
Y lo que estamos haciendo es también tenemos que hold our own party and our own elected officials, and even the allies that we see, accountable. I know there's more than one time that I put myself out there and I said, hey, what you're doing, even though you're a Democrat, even though you're Latino, you're not for our people. And so we have that responsibility as individuals. As individuals, we have a responsibility to speak up, to fight back, and to challenge the powers that be at whatever facet it may look like. Right now, we're facing a very difficult time, especially the immigrant community. Speaking as somebody without documentation, as somebody without papers, I realize how the same fear and the same sadness is only getting intensified as time has progressed. And I say that because whenever they're repeating the situation, there's going to be a sticker shock that a lot of students are going to face that are talking about. Somos Texas has started a scholarship to provide opportunities to these students. We're actually launching this scholarship on August 23rd. It's going to be a really cool event. It's going to be called Lucha y Libre. And it's to signify that we still have some freedoms and we have to use those freedoms to fight. And so we're going to have this event at Four Corners Brewery, where we're going to have free cerveza, tacos, we're going to have some entertainment. There's a rapper named Old Chris that's going to come out. We're going to have resources. It's going to be one of the most beautiful events. I want to also give a shout out to Azalia. She's been working tirelessly to make this event come to life. Teacher of the year kind of person that we have in our team as well. And it's a holistic approach to providing resources where we're going to be having North Texas food bank, providing food. We're even going to have a pet pantry for free food for pets. We're going to be giving away free haircuts. We're going to give away the scholarships. And then at the end, we're actually going to have a real lucha libre fight. So I'm going to put on my mask and I'm not fighting, but we're going to have some real fighters out there. And it's all for our community. The thing that you may see in the near future is going to be more marketing, but also you may get a call from me. You're going to get that call from me because we're looking for donors and sponsors for these scholarships. The great thing about Somos Texas is that we have grown exponentially. We've been able to receive grants. So we're covering everything. All of this is out of our pocket. Somos Texas is going to cover the expenses for this whole event. But I'm asking, again, el pueblo salva al pueblo. I'm asking for donations, noting that 100% of those donations are going to go to the pockets of students. A lot of them are going to be undocumented students. So we're doing $1,000 scholarships. It's a very accessible application where it's just a Google form. They can fill it out within an hour or two. And again, we'll be making calls. We're going to start making calls to see who wants to help us provide these scholarships to these students. Our work is going to continue. Somos Texas. We are Texas. And thank you so much for having us today.
I have known you almost as long as he has, and it's a joy to watch you up there doing your thing. But I have a question about goals.
And you know how I focus on goals on those papers that are on the desk. By the way, that's a LULAC project that Ray Los Santos has guided for the last 14 years, and that's why it's so
successful. Anyhow, if you can take what you're doing and become more goal focused, just like our students coming out of our schools right now, hopefully that will make it more effective. Does that make sense, to be goal centered really goal-centered and talk about goals a lot.
I really appreciate that comment, and that is a very true point. Whenever Domingo was mentioning how we have received recognition from the Department of Education, it was based on those metrics. The fact that this campaign, I've had the privilege of running or helping support over 40 campaigns to run for office, and I have that strategic mindset whenever we're running a nonprofit, where we're actually at times precinct specific. So for example, we did a case study at some of the areas that had the lowest voter turnout. Again, the lowest voter turnout are a lot of times in our neighborhoods, our barrios. We did a 2-year case study to see how much we can help our precinct increase in voter turnout. Within 2 years, from one city council race to the other, to try to use that as a comparison, with sustainable engagement, we saw a precinct's growth of 190 to 202%. It is possible. It is possible, but it requires time and it requires money. And a lot of times I understand how the dynamics of politics are a little bit infringent upon being able to invest that type of attention on voters, because for a low propensity voter, you have to spend more money and more time on it. But that's where Somos Texas is. We're doing the work early on. We're toiling the soil, because what I've realized is that we've had amazing candidates that have not been elected, not because of who they are, but because they're ahead of their time, in the sense that they're coming into communities that have been undernourished civically. And so how can we get somebody that is as powerful as like a Giovanni or an Albert or a Domingo to get elected? Is by first investing in those communities early on. The last one was that, again, the things that we're doing is that it's beyond just voting. The Department of Education gave us accreditation, or gave us recognition, because we were bringing also broadback activity through the ACP, through the Affordable Connectivity Program. And so it's whatever opportunities that we can to canvas. So far, since the inception of the organization, we have knocked on over 150,000 homes. And it's that continuous engagement that is needed and required for us to be able to bring this substantive change. Our goal is a paradigm shift in electioneering by investing in Latino communities.
Bueno, primeramente te felicito, Ramiro, porque tú has sido activo desde la edad de 16, 17 años. Hemos visto crecer a Domingo, a Elba y a varios políticos, pero los únicos que han activado y que han ayudado a la gente ha sido los García, y no porque estén aquí, porque toda la gente que es aquí somos agradecidos, debemos de agradecerlo, porque Domingo está en las buenas y en las malas con nosotros. Primeramente, si quieres que siga tu programa adelante de, ¿cómo se llama? ¿Texas? Somos Texas. Llámame, háblame a mi teléfono y verás que vamos a crecer, porque yo, como no trabajo, me dedico a hablar con la gente para seguir apoyando a la gente. Y para los que no saben, esta junta se hizo exclusivamente para los hispanos, pero nomás 3 o 4 juntas fueron en español, todas han sido en inglés. Necesitas tú, Ramiro, si quieres que ese programa sea adelante, hablar en español. Si tú dices quiero hablar en una iglesia, yo te busco las iglesias para que te conserves y para que hablas y que la gente siga adelante contigo. Gracias.
One question over here.
Hi, Mr. Luna. I wanted to say it's beautiful that you have an organization that is giving back to the community. My name is David DeLabra. I'm a cross-country coach here at Sunset High School. I brought my team actually to here. And my coach here is very much like, I was hoping that Dr. Hinojosa was still going to be here, but I think he had to leave a little soon. One of my goals was to come back as well, so I graduated from Sunset High School, so I came back to my alma mater. I'm a teacher there, I'm a coach there. The same way that you're giving back to your community, the same way that you created the scholarship, is one of my goals as a coach is to close the gap between, let's say, our cross-country team versus a Highland Park cross-country team or a Frisco cross-country team. Whenever we go to the meets, I see that they have all these resources, they have all these big tents, these massage guns, these everything that basically we don't have. And And that's something that I want to give back to them. We are fundraising now. Our season is starting pretty soon, so I wanted to ask anybody if you guys are able to spare anything for our team, the same way Mr. Luna is doing. I would really appreciate it. But thank you so much, guys.
Coach, come on up. Principal David Lee, come on up. So first of all, I've been there. When I was at Russ Junior High, we had helmets from the 1950s when I was playing football. So happy dogs. So I want to donate $2,000 to your team. And principal, I know that y'all attorney and your sister principal here, Brian Potter, attorney, Sunset around. I want you to say a few words.
Yes, thank you. Well, let me first say what an honor it is to get this invitation. What an honor it is to be able to come here and serve our Sunset community. A little about myself. This is my 19th year in Dallas ISD, and before I became principal at Sunset, I was the principal at Hector P. Garcia Middle School. And one of my, Liao, go ahead and come up here. Azalea Liao was one of our star teachers at Hector P. Garcia Middle School, Teacher of the Year last year, by the way. And a lot of the things that we're doing now, it truly is meaningful, because Miss Liao is, if you don't mind me just kind of telling a little bit about yourself. Come on up, Miss Liao. She is a product of Dallas ISD. And her story is quite amazing, right? She started off at Dallas ISD and went to Townview, TAG, and then at Townview, she went to SMU and wanted to give back to the community. I hired her as a first-year teacher at Hector P. Garcia Middle School. With the work that we did, we were able to bring in the first IB school, International Baccalaureate School, in the Oak Cliff community. And for me, it was, this is something that only was in North Dallas. And I was like, why should only the schools north of the Trinity have all the best?
That's right.
And so we were able to start, and now Hector P. Garcia Middle School, after that, our elementary school, Peel Elementary became an IB campus, and now Adamson High School is an IB campus as well. And we're able to start that. So a lot of the work, and then also Hector P. Garcia Middle School, we were able to transform the school from a C campus to the first A middle school campus in our area. So that was a lot of the hard work that we did together. But I want to just highlight one thing. Miss Liao had to leave education this last year. And it was because she is a DACA recipient. And there's a lot of individuals who try to put down amazing people like Miss Liao. But I was so glad to see that she's still part, and she's a huge advocate. She would always come see Mr. Lee, can I go to Austin? I need to take a few days off to advocate, to speak to the representative. Can I go to DC? And I always said, yes, do the work. You do a lot for our community, you do a lot for our students, but you're doing something that's bigger and better. So it is quite an honor to be here to serve our Sunset community. This is also our centennial year, for those of you who don't know. 100-year celebration for Sunset. So we are going to invite all of you to come out and celebrate with us. We have a parade that we have planned, a parade route, and we are going to be able to celebrate 100 years of Sunset. So please check our websites, look at the events, and come out and help us celebrate Sunset. Again, it is quite an honor to be here to serve y'all, and wherever you need, come and see me. My doors are always open.
Coach, why don't you bring your team up? Come on up, guys. Come on. I run cross country. Hey, that's hard. Hey,
As they come up here, I just wanted to say I've been coaching them for 3 years, and these are the representatives say they can outmoney us, but they can outwork us, and that's definitely a thing for this roster team. So I'm gonna give them the mic and let them say their name and what grade they're going to.
name's Brianna. I'm going into my junior year.
My name is Jordan Galvan. I'm going to my senior year.
My name is Isabella. My name is Anna Martinez. I'm going to my senior year. My name is Lily, and I'm going to my sophomore year.
My name is David. I'm going to my junior year.
My name is Isaiah. I'm going to my junior year.
My name is Lorena. I'm going to my junior year.
Like I said, one of my main goals is to close the gap between our team and let's say the team where there's other people, maybe they're white, maybe they're black, maybe they're Asian, it doesn't matter, right? I want to close the gap between the resources we have and the resources that other teams have. So that's my main goal.
Thank you very much. Good luck. What was the name of that movie, McLaughlin or whatever, about the Latino prospector? Yeah. All right, we can have one here. All right. I got one last speaker that we're gonna end. You know, it's almost State Fair of Texas time. And this year, Mundo Latino is moving on up. They're going to be at the Hall of State, right in the middle of the fair, recognizing our Latino culture, cultura, history, and a few words on what's happening, what you can expect, besides that corny dog or whatever you got, the turkey there, or Jerome also tostadas, whatever we all have. I want to recognize our friend who's going to be here on Mundo Latino at the State Fair of Texas.
For those of you that don't know me, my name is Rafael Luna. I have been carrying on the legacy that my wife left here. My wife, Cindy Benavides, left the legacy, got together with the State Fair, and decided the Latinos needed to be present at this State Fair of Texas. The State Fair of Texas is one of the largest state fair in the whole country. We run the longest, 24 days. We have over 2.5 million people come to this fair. And I'm so proud to say that my wife started it. This year will make our 29th year at the State Fair of Texas. We are, and everywhere I go I tell them, I only carry on the legacy that my wife left. But we are the oldest Latino partner at the State Fair House. And I'm very proud of that. But let me tell you the great news. We are moving to the Hall of State. Great. We're right in the middle. So we're going to get a lot more traffic.
Yeah.
And this year, Mundo Latino is being presented by the law offices of Domingo Garcia. So we will go ahead and everything we publish will have Domingo Garcia's name, because when I know from working side by side with him on a lot of projects that he is one of the philanthropists that gives back to the community. Not only in being involved, but also financially, also spiritually. And you know what? That dedication that he has, that example that he puts for everybody is unsurpassed by anybody, you know, for me. So I just want to make sure that we give him a big round of applause, and also his wife. They have extended the privilege of Mundo Latino continuing. So they are the presenting sponsors for 2025 and 2026. Alright, so I'm very, very proud. Thank you, Priscilla. Thank you, Domingo.
Glad to help out, because again, I think it's just time we recognize. I go to the State Fair, and we were never invisible when I was a kid. DISD days, I don't know how many of you remember back in And we were not there. We were invisible. It was just big text and, you know, all this other stuff. So it's time that our cultura and our richness of our country is recognized in the middle and the main stage.
Yeah.
All right, that's it. Open for